Why do Asian men disproportionately struggle with dating? And it's not what you think. So here's what most Asian men think is the reason that dating doesn't work for them, okay? Because of the media. The media portrays us as, effeminate, nerdy, geeky, like we don't look cool, we don't get the girl in the movies, right? Or it's because of our physical appearance, like, just like our phenotype, our eyes, we're short, we're small, we're XYZ, we have a small, private parts. Um, these are all things that the world will have us believe, and that I believed myself for a very long time. Okay? And the key thing is, I want you to notice that these are all things that are outside of our control, which is very convenient, okay? Because if we believe those things, then we will think, oh, there's no point in even trying. Why bother? Because the things that are holding me back are outside of my control, so there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, and that's the perfect way to never get results with women. Now, here are the other things that actually hold Asian men back and that I want you to consider, okay? Because when I changed my mindset to these things, that's when my results with women went through the roof. Real quick, let's take a look at the beautiful ocean here in Brazil. Just a wonderful morning. So what actually holds Asian men back in dating? Okay? And I will argue, okay, from my own personal experience and from coaching over 120 Asian men over the last 3 years, that it is things inside of us. It's the things that we believe which cause us to act a certain way, which cause us to think a certain way, which then generates a certain result when it comes to women. So the main thing that held me back, and that I see all of my Asian clients being held back by, is the way they think and the way they behave in the context of women and dating. And a lot of this stems from the way we were raised, which you could argue, yes, is out of our control. But at the same time, if you think about it, if that's the way we were raised, that means that it's just conditioning. It's just somebody taught us to behave this way. And that means we can learn to behave a different way. It's not like you were born with these genes, you just can't change them anymore. It's like, no, if you were raised a certain way, you can just sort of raise yourself a new way. And so what was the way that we were generally raised, right? Generally raised to be extremely polite, not stick our heads out, right? Not make a scene, not be bold or risk-taking, but play it safe, right? We see this everywhere in Asian culture. Get a safe job, try to get into the best school so you can secure your future, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's just like sort of economic, financial advice. But the thing is, Asians in general play it very safe, which is not necessarily conducive when it comes to attracting women. You kind of have to stick your head out, kind of need to put your balls on the line. You kind of need to take some risks in order to even be noticed by women. You have to be okay with rejection, right? You have to be okay with putting yourself out there and, looking like a fool in front of a lot of people, potentially, or at least in front of that girl. Right? What else does Asian upbringing tell us? Asian upbringing is has very little emphasis on like social development. A lot on like academic development, right? The idea is that if we do well in school and then get a good job, the girl stuff will just kind of take care of itself. Like you'll just get married somehow and like the grandkids will just pop out, which we all know doesn't work. But what that leads to is, Asian men generally being a little bit stunted when it comes to their being in their 20s and 30s with women, because we haven't been trained. We haven't had those experiences. We didn't go to parties when we were younger. We weren't, out there socializing, going to quinceañeras and dances and socials and things that involve a lot of other people. And boys and girls dancing and things like this. So, we've been raised a certain way that basically teaches us to behave in a certain way around people and women, which is not conducive to attracting women, at least in Western contexts. So the thing about this is it's very positive because this is under our control, right? Because if this is just the way we were taught to behave, then we can teach ourselves or learn from others how to behave, right? Because these are just behaviors, right? These are just skills. It's just social skills, right? Like at some point, you probably didn't know how to do math, but then you learned how to do it because somebody taught you. Or at some point, you didn't know how to read, and then somebody taught you, right? We were raised. Raising is just being taught, right? So, if you think about learning to be good with women as something that we were raised to not be good at, then we just need to find a way to raise ourselves, teach ourselves how to properly be good with women. So what are the things that Asian men need to adopt in order to be good with women, sort of cancel out the bad raising that we were taught? Well, not that, first of all, I want to, say a disclaimer that you don't have to necessarily let go of all of the things that Asian culture taught. I used to think that, Asian culture sucks, makes me bad with women. But the thing is, Asian culture has a lot of good things, right? Like, at least for me, it taught me to be hardworking, disciplined, really focused, value like long-term goals and not like short-term pleasure, right? There's a lot of good things about Asian culture. Now, the pieces that don't make sense in the context of dating and that I had to unlearn are, for example, being a doormat for others, right? People pleasing. That's a big one in Asian culture. Is like our whole lives are about pleasing our parents and going to Harvard and becoming a doctor, right? I had to let that go. I had to be okay with disappointing my parents in terms of career. But in general, I had to be okay with like not being liked necessarily, which kind of goes along with this like idea of not being afraid of rejection, right? Because if you're only trying to please, if you're constantly trying to please everyone in your life, that means you fear being rejected or somebody, feeling some negative way about you. And that's never going to work out when it comes to girls, because you're going to get rejected a lot. You're going to get rejected a lot. And that's the only way that you're actually going to get accepted by a lot, right? Other things that Asian men need to let go of include being overly nice, right? Doing a lot of things for other people, including women, hoping that they will like you, right? Asian culture is centered around like, if I do a lot of good things, if I get good grades, work really hard, then my parents and my family will be proud of me. It's centered around like going above and beyond in order for other people to approve of us. And that doesn't work with women. We, at least what I used to do was buy girls coffee and hang out with them and help them with their homework and, do nice things for them. And all that makes them see you as is somebody that they don't respect. Somebody that they don't respect. And that's not going to go well when it comes to sexual attraction. So the thing is, Asian men first need to let go of the idea that, everything is outside of our control, okay? And I wouldn't be saying this unless it was my firsthand experience, not just with me, but with literally over 120 Asian clients, right? The general idea is that it's outside of our control. The media makes us look like this. Our looks are just the way they are. We can't change it. And that's the end all be all. And that's a very sad place to be. But if you'll be willing to entertain what I've talked about in this video, that we were just raised a certain way, which causes us to act a certain way. And we can then choose to raise ourselves a different way, which will cause us to act a different way, right? Then we can have the results that we want without changing the color of our skin or the shape of our eyes or our height, right? Or our race. And for me, not only did this feel a lot more empowering, it freed me of this sort of racial dialogue in my head that race was the thing that was holding me back. But it actually yielded real results, like literally real results over the last, 5 or 6 years since I started my dating journey, going on over 150 dates, coaching over 120 Asian men, finding my dream girl who, if you asked me in high school, I would have said no fucking way I'd be able to ever attract a girl like that. Okay? So that's the secret sauce. That's the reason why Asian men think they're held back. And, the way that you can get yourself out of that. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more golden nuggets on dating for Asian men. And if you want me to personally help you with overcoming, the mindset challenges, the demons in your head that tell you you're not good enough as an Asian man, you can't get women. If you want me to teach you how to overcome that, and also the step-by-steps of actually how to, set up your dating profile, get on dates, go on dates, get a girlfriend, all that fun jazz, book in a one-on-one call with me down below using the link. I'll be excited to talk with you about how I can help you with that. So, looking forward to seeing you on the call. And until then, have a great day.